This chair is obviously not mine. What's up, Brave New World? It's Joshua again here with a quick new video. A quick and express new video in which, as you can see, I'm in a different location because I'm in vacation. This is a wonderful thing about doing what I do. This is a wonderful thing about work. You sometimes get vacations. You are supposed to get it, but we're not getting into that topic right now. As you can see, this chair is obviously not mine, and I'm taking advantage of the fact that my cousin, this bloody idiot who I love so much, takes an abnormally long time to take a shower, because apparently when you are living in a town where the water gets cut off all the time, it's, what's the word? Help me. It's a little bit too much. No. When you live in a town where the water gets cut off all the time, you get used to taking long showers. You get used to taking quick showers, you know? But on the other hand, people on the other places where water doesn't get cut off that often, they take longer showers. But that's not the point right here. As you can see in this new episode of this attempt of a podcast, this is the 5th episode. Wait a minute. In this particular episode of this attempt of a podcast, I'm going to, in this new podcast of, of this attempt of a podcast regarding this child lifestyle that I like so much, regarding this lifestyle that I live with all the pleasure in the world, which is the child-free lifestyle, there is a very particular post that I saw that immediately caught my attention, right? And I wanted to take a look at this one and take a look at some of the replies, and at the same time give my opinion of this podcast attempt. Let's call it that way. The name of the title of this post is Ring. You will see this edited. I reported an HR, human resources rep, for asking if I was pregnant, and I'm like, are you effing serious? Are you effing kidding me? Really? Are you going to do that? Oh my, no, that's disgusting. Why would you do such a thing? Why would you do such a thing? If a woman is with a big belly, it is never appropriate to ask that woman if that's because she's fat or because she's pregnant. It's just a very intrusive question, you know? It's not okay. So, let's give it a try. I can see a couple of abbreviations that I do not understand. Therefore, I'm going to take a look before we start reading the post, such as FMLA? FMLA, what's the meaning of that? Fuck my long ass? I don't know. FMLA, what's the meaning of that? FMLA. Alright. FMLA, what's the meaning of that? According to Google, means Family and Medical Leave Act. FMLA means Family and Medical Leave Act. Lets eligible employees take unpaid leave for medical and or family reasons, which is fantastic, you know. Bonus point. This chair is not mine. The cough I had during the first days of April really took a toll on my throat. Let's continue. And it says, earlier today I went to my... the text goes like this. Earlier today I went to my HR rep to ask about family? No, to ask about the Family and Medical Leave Act. Since I've been in an extremely bad mental place lately and I want to know my options. I'd never gone to HR about anything before and I was pretty nervous. I have really bad anxiety about telling people how I actually feel. She was already at our building going on rounds when I decided to reach out for help. Big mistake. She heard the word FMLA, Family and Medical... Medical what? Family and Medical Leave Act. And got real giddy, asking, "Oh, are you?" And gestured to my belly. I was floored. I kinda laughed it off and told her, "Nope, just boring mental illness." And she seemed dismayed. After getting back to my desk, it hit me. That person is a fucking HR representative! Why is she, of all people, asking me something so intimate? I hate that question in general from anyone. But we were there to talk about my mental illness, not what's going on inside my body. What the fuck? I then say fuck it, and I look up her boss, and they shot him, and then shot him, and then shot him an email saying she made me feel uncomfortable, because she did. Who goes around asking people if they are pregnant in the first place? Also, side note, my bisalp is in 2 weeks. I'm so excited! And by the way, let's find the meaning of the word bisalp. Alright? Bisalp. Meaning. Definition. A bisalp surgery. Bisalp is a shortened term for bilateral salpingectomy. Bilateral salpingectomy. A surgical procedure where both fallopian tubes are removed. This procedure can be a permanent form of birth control because the removal of both tubes prevents eggs from traveling from the ovaries to the uterus for fertilization. And that is the reply from what's the word? This is an answer provided by provided by the AI of Google, and I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? Let's use it for convenience purposes. No other thing, No other thing. Edit. This got way more traction than I was expecting, and I've had some time to reflect. My workplace is extremely toxic, and it is turning me into someone I do not want to be. I need to get away from this place entirely. I'm still going to meet with her supervisor and explain why that is not a question that should ever be asked. I do not want anyone to get fired, nor do I want anyone to have to go through this again. Thank you for everyone who has commented on this post, both in support and in disapproval. We are all just humans trying our best, and we all have room to grow. This has been a very important lesson. Update. I talked to her supervisor, and he was extremely polite and professional and understood my concerns and how her comment was unprofessional. He assured me that there wouldn't be too much of a ripple effect, and that he would bring this matter to her attention. I know I would have been very back and forth on this post, but I've never reported anyone before, and I can see both sides of the issue. The matter is being dealt with, and that is all I could hope for. Thank you so much for reading, and I really appreciate it. Fantastic! I'm so glad that you got that solved and sorted out, OP, because honestly, in general, it's not okay, alright? Malcolm in the Middle, the wonderful TV show, the wonderful sitcom created by Linwood Boomer, already tackled this topic in a very funny way, which is kind of relatable and such a teachable moment, Why do I say that? Because, what's the word? Why do I say that? I say that because Hal, the father, played by Bryan Cranston, approaches the alleged new boss, who seems to have a big swollen belly. Hal is like, ew, what do we have here? And he touches the goddamn belly of the woman. Not okay! It's not okay, alright? It's not okay. And what does the boss reply? My big, chubby, fat stomach. What's your point? And that makes me be like, again, not okay to ask that. If I see a woman with a swollen belly, I'm not gonna ask her if she's pregnant. In fact, I'm not even gonna address the fact that she has a swollen belly, which could mean that she's just with a big belly, or maybe pregnant. I don't know. Long story short, never ever ask that. Now, reply number 1 with a couple of responses. The reply number 1 goes like this. HR manager here, and she should have never asked you that. I don't even assume someone is pregnant or planning to be pregnant if they ask about maternity leave policies, because you literally never know what's going on in someone's life. And to that, I couldn't agree more. Why? That would be because, well, you never know if they want to get pregnant but they are struggling, or maybe they just want to know their rights, they just want to know the laws, the work laws, and more importantly, they could be trying to get pregnant, but it's a struggle and they still cannot manage to get pregnant, and you just reminded them of that. Not okay. To that reply, somebody says, oh, there is a long reply. I like this. Let's read it a lot. I know an HR person. She said, almost verbatim, what you said a few years back when something similar happened to our friend. She just also added, I still wouldn't ask if they are pregnant if the baby was crowning and 3 doctors were screaming to push. People are just too nosy. I got a kick out of it then. And you reminded me of that. Smiley face. I totally like that because yeah, that's totally fun. The fact that, yeah, even if they are about to get birth, I wouldn't ask the person if they're pregnant. There is another long reply that says, I like that. It says, give me a second. It says, agreed. Never assume pregnancy and never ask. If you've got a gooey baby in your bare chest, I'd be like, oh, you were pregnant. Never before. Whenever anyone tells me they're pregnant, I always ask if it's a good thing first. A lot of people know that I am pro-choice, and I'm willing to do what I can for that belief. So, I've been told about an unwanted pregnancy enough times that I just started asking. Ah, that's actually fantastic. So, you have interacted with people that have they are pregnant, the woman is pregnant, but she didn't want that, or she's super nervous about it. Maybe she will grow up to love her child, I don't know. One more time, whenever anyone tells me they're pregnant, I always ask if it's a good thing first. A lot of people know that I am pro-choice and I'm willing to do what I can for that belief. So, I've been told about an unwanted pregnancy enough times that I just started asking. Beautiful reply, OP, beautiful reply. Anyway, the HR rep was likely jumping the gun and assuming that you need FMLA for pregnancy. One more time. Anyway, the HR representative was likely jumping the gun and assuming that you need Family and Medical Leave Act for pregnancy. If you are baby making age, you forgot a dash over there. One more time. If you are baby making age and a woman and have an invisible illness, she made the assumption, a real bad one, it's a big no-no. If you're baby making age and a woman and have an invisible illness, she made the assumption, a real bad one, it's a big no-no. It is likely that the people who fit the above criteria are generally needing Family and Medical Leave Act for pregnancy and not for illness. Yeah, maybe you are just feeling not good, you know? You're just feeling not good. She should not have asked or done any motions or anything other than to ask if it's for your care or for care of a family member and giving you the packet for your doctor to fill out if it's used by your organization. You just have to have certain things on the doctor's note per the regs and don't need to use any specific form to apply for Family and Medical Leave Act. If you wish to complain about discrimination, you should reach out to your EEO officer, likely someone in HR but higher up. Your state may also have a civil rights department you may file with, and you can also file a complaint with the US EEO Commission, EEOC. I'm glad you felt comfortable reporting this. It's really one of the ways that things change. Totally agree, but there's something I don't understand. And what's the meaning of the abbreviation EEO meaning? What's the meaning of that? Equal employment opportunity. So one more time, if you wish to complain about discrimination, you should reach out to your equal employment opportunity officer, likely someone in HR but higher up. Your state may also have a civil rights department you may file with, and you can also file a complaint with the US Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, EEOC. I'm glad you felt comfortable reporting this. It's really one of the ways that things change. I love that reply. Really I did. I love that reply. Really I did. Now let's move on to another reply. Let's move on to another reply with a few other smaller replies. Reply number 2, and it goes, for all she knows, you're going to leave because you had a miscarriage. Imagine how that question would make someone feel. Jesus. And I totally agree, because as I said, maybe a couple, a man and a woman, a husband and a wife, are trying to have babies, but it's a struggle, and the woman just won't get pregnant. Maybe she has the issues, maybe the man has the issues, I don't know, but it's a struggle. And even it's a struggle that maybe they don't want to be reminded of. And even worse, what if there was a miscarriage? What if they lost a baby? And you asking them that would just trigger some bad stress, The woman suffers, and the man, the husband, can suffer too. But I forgot what I was talking about. Oh yeah. I forgot. Damn it, I forgot. Oh yeah, if it was a miscarriage, the woman suffers the most. The dad, the husband, the man can suffer just as much, but for the woman, it's a little bit more scarring, and it takes a heavier toll because she's the one giving birth to the baby and carrying it. Moving on to another short reply that goes, that's immediately what I thought, about miscarriages. Unless someone specifically says the words maternity leave, don't assume that shit. And the other person replies, and even the parental leave can be for adoptions as well. And that's beautiful. There are plenty of kids that need to have a loving family. Now, moving on to reply number 3. How does it go? Someone says, I had an human resources rep tell my boss I was pregnant when I asked for the most recent Family and Medical Leave Act forms back in the day. I was not pregnant, and I was asking as I was looking into getting spine surgery. The HR rep got fired for that stunt. I'm still mad. And you righteously should be mad. No, you should righteously be mad. But hey, look at the bright side. That stupid idiot that made the assumption got fired, so there's a silver lining there. Yeah, I'm so malicious for being glad that idiot got fired. I'm such an evil idiot. But nah, I don't care if I think that. Anyway, other reply says, even if you had been, I'm sure it's against policy to tell your boss. I totally agree. These type of things are better to keep it secret. No, keep it confidential. That's the best word. Confidential in this context. Even if you had been, I'm sure it was against policy to tell your boss. And then the other person replies, as if a pregnancy is the only health issue a woman will ever face, because we are just worms on legs. Ugh, disgusted face. I totally agree. We're humans, and women are humans too. I sound so sarcastic, ironic, and probably even misogynistic when I say that, but that's not my intention, It's like, I think even George R.R. Martin, the author of Game of Thrones, George R.R. Martin, I've always considered women as people. Oh my god. This is an alleged quote that says, I've always considered women to be people. George R.R. Martin famously said that quote when asked how he writes female characters so well. He replied, I've always considered women to be people. The great irony here is Sarah Hess seems to think she's improving George R.R. Martin's characters, when in reality her primary contribution appears to be stripping away what makes these women people. She's turned many of them into hollow, badass cliches, one-dimensional figments of her own imagination. I'm taking this from another Reddit post, by the way. Back to the topic of child-free lifestyle. Reply number 4 says what? Give me a second. Reply number 4 says, and this is a little short but long, One more time, what's the meaning of that FMLA meaning? Family and Medical Leave Act. Apparently in this post they are using that abbreviation a lot, you know? Wow, how incredibly unprofessional on that HR rep. I really hope you getting the info you need for Family and Medical Leave Act without any issues and hopefully an apology attached. Dang! Sorry that happened, OP, but congrats on your best help. I hope your recovery goes well. That's beautiful, that's fantastic. Yeah, I totally hope that they give an apology. It doesn't erase the pain, but it's a good first step. It is a good first step. Reply 5. It says, that was very unprofessional. If the person hasn't told you why they are taking leave, it's weird to assume it's some kind of joyous occasion. What if you're having a mental breakdown because your best friend just killed themselves? And here she comes gleefully giggling at you during one of the worst moments in your life. I say moments, when in fact I was going to say moments. I say going instead of going. Sorry for the confusion in the pronunciation. And to that, another person replies, ugh. If I've been working with my late fiance got sick, I would have needed Family and Medical Leave Act, FMLA. I'm pretty sure if I was asked about being pregnant during that, my brain would have thought, oh, what if you're pregnant and going through this, which would be 2 times as much unwanted trauma. Thinking about it would probably work me up enough to become visibly upset then and there, if not become most non-functional due to anxiety. It feels bad. It feels bad. Reply number 6. Let's read 10 replies. 6. It says, I got the same question from our HR rep when asking about FMLA, Family and Medical Leave Act. Nope, just getting together my options because my mom had been diagnosed with cancer. And the other person says, sending supports. There is a short reply that says, HR, of all people, should know better. And I totally agree. One more time. HR, out of all people, should have known better. And I totally agree with that. That is a short reply number 7 with a few semi-long, small but long replies. And it says, HR out of all people should have known better. And then this person says, let's see, as someone who works in labor and employment law, the degree to which HR personnel don't know the most basic laws and best practices as many places is nothing short of downright terrifying. And I couldn't agree with you more. Another person replies, my biological clock is happy hour. What's that? What does that even mean? HR at my job is truly astonishing. Not in a good way. Breaches confidentiality, talks about you are in breach of our company policy, which is printed and right in front of me, and she's wrong, and the lies. Oh my, the lies of that woman's mouth. I see some long replies. Let's read them quickly. Replies. Let's finish this over here because in a moment I'm about to go sightseeing, going for a walk with my damn silly cousin who I love so much. The last replies go. Number 8. You did the right thing. Tons of people ask for a Family and Medical Leave Act for all sorts of things. You know a lot of people that I know a lot of people that have it because they are carers. Sorry, they are carers, not careers. They are carers. They give care for their elderly parents. So they use it for like doctor's appointments and if their parents got sick. She was definitely out of line, and you were right to send an email out because if she did it to you, she's probably done it to others. Reply number 8, and I couldn't agree more. If it's a mistake that has happened later, maybe, no, if it happened to you, and it's horrible, that person probably has done it to other people. All she needed to know, reply number 9, all she needed to know is that you're applying for FMLA, Family and Medical Leave Act, not the reason why. Congrats on your upcoming surgery. HR reps are trying to manage sensitive situations, and she dropped the ball. She should have immediately apologized. Yeah, again, never assume someone is pregnant. I would probably be surprised, but then, never mind. Shake my head and go back to reality. Don't ask anything about that. Reply number 10 and a few more. As someone who has worked in HR, specifically dealing with Family and Medical Leave Act, this blows me away. When someone requested FMLA, Family and Medical Leave Act, nobody on our team got excited, even if it did turn out to be for a baby. FMLA covers so much, and so many times I experienced it not being happy news when someone needed to request it. Most of the time, it's a family member that is sick. Does she ask all the men that request FMLA if they've gotten someone pregnant? I don't know if it would surprise me, and I couldn't agree with you more. Something like that could be for many different reasons. Next reply. Congrats on the oncoming surgery, by the way. A good heating pad, it's worth its weight in gold. Also, you want stool softeners, not stool stimulants. Learn from my mistake. Also, I would be super pissed if I was asked if I was pregnant. I'm fat, so I could pass for pregnant in the right clothing. And if I was asked this, I'd be super pissed. I'm honestly more surprised that she was okay discussing FMLA than her being massively rude. Only because the few times I've tried to talk to past employers about it, I get the run around and nothing gets solved. From my experience, most companies try their hardest not to let you on FMLA, Family and Medical Leave Act. Hey, I'm not American, so obviously I'm going to say Family and Medical Leave Act, FMLA. Moving on to the reply to that one, the reply number 10. If that happened to me, I'd complain to the Wage and Hour Division of the Department of Labor, because that is very illegal. Hey, if someone from Reddit suggests that, I might consider it. And then another person replies, I have only one experience, but my company was great about my FMLA for OHS. What the heck is OHS? What the fuck is OHS? OHS, what's the meaning of that? OHS means Occupation, Health and Safety. OHS, Occupation, Health and Safety. It wasn't a good time. Our team had a lot of people going on FMLA at the same time. Family and Medical Leave Act. Me, one more engineer, and our boss. Only one was going for parental leave. None of us could postpone either. My heart was going downhill after COVID. Boss was having a cancerous tumor removed, and colleague's baby was certainly not going to wait 6 weeks until I got back. Again, that cough at the beginning of April took a toll on me. I'm recovering, and I'm glad I am, but damn it. Wait. Damn. Where was I? Where was I? Not once did my HR team, management, or even colleagues ask me to return early. They encouraged me to take the full 3 months of recovery recommended. I get that too many companies fight you on FMLA, Family and Medical Leave Act, but I don't want to discourage people from using FMLA. Some companies do support their people. Without revealing much, I know people that I know a few friends, people and acquaintances that work in places that basically disrespect their working rights. And a few days ago, I was talking to my nieces and nephews, and I was telling them, you're the new workforce. Don't make the mistake of my generation and the one before and the one before. Know your workers' rights, alright? Because the Gen Z in Mexico, Canada, US, and all the countries, they call us that we are lazy and we don't want to work. When in fact, fuck off, sit down here and then here for a punchline. Why? We know our workers' rights and we don't want to be taken advantage of. If the clock in my contract, if my work says that I work until 6 o'clock, then at 6 o'clock I'm going to leave, and I'm not going to work overtime unless you pay me for that. I'm not like the boomers, millennials, and Gen Xers that stay at work for extra time because that's the only life they knew, and because they thought if I work extra hours they're going to value me because loyalty and all that stuff. But in reality, it's a company that would get rid of you in a heartbeat. Know your rights. And back to the post, it says I reported an HR rep for asking if I was pregnant. I couldn't be prouder of you, OP. I'm so glad you reported this person. And fuck off. I think I'm gonna check on my cousin to see how it's doing. In the meantime, thank you for being here, Brave New World. See you later. Peace and bless. Peace. I'll cut this out.